Dust the Viking here. We're going to talk about the new 3 maps coming to Ghost Hunter Core. We're also going to talk about some of the difficulties they added and why they basically still don't work. What's wrong with the difficulties in Ghost Hunter Core and why the game is still super easy. First out, let's get into these maps. The first one I've got loaded up here is going to be the Pennsylvania Cemetery. This is one of my favorite maps. We're not going to do a hunt here. I'm just going to run through and show you the new map really quick. Should load up pretty quick. We'll get back here and we'll just load up some stuff. I think I'll just grab a flashlight. I don't know if we really need any protective stuff. Actually, I wonder here. Oh yeah, there we go. It's maximum light. Maybe that's too much light. It's foggy. So we see we have a really foggy map. We've got a walled-in cemetery here. Bego's parked outside. We come out here. We have a big gate that we have to open. There's the ghost already talking. It's actually quite well lit. And the wall writing can be on the graves. I've seen the ghosts already write on these big tombstones. That is pretty cool. The fog actually makes the flashlight not all that good. I ran through here with the night vision camera, so didn't really catch what's going on. You see you've got some chain ambience. Can you hear that? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Now, it's packed more like a Hollywood horror movie set than it is maybe a realistic graveyard. But I'll be honest, I kind of dig it. I do very much like this. It creates more clean walkways. It still looks super spooky. Can we go in any here? Does not look like we can go in any of those places. What do we have back here? So it's not a huge map. Not a huge map, but it's got a lot of areas to it. What, is this flashlight any better? Nah, this is just not a flashlight map. I do not believe there are any underground areas, but I didn't give this map a thorough rundown the first time I popped in here. But it does not appear that you can open any of these. This is... I don't know what's lighting this statue up. Just cool ambience, I guess. Why not? Why not? 3. Can we pick these up? Oh, these can be cursed items. Ooh, that's kind of cool. So you may be doing some skull hunting in this game. And we're gonna, yeah. So we'll double check all these doors here. But see, here's another skull. So you can see it's a pretty cool map. It's a pretty cool map. I really like it. Alright, let's pop back and go check out some of the other maps. And while we're doing that, let's talk about the difficulties. So, there was a bug that they fixed. Whoa, did I see something over there? Or is that just the map shifting? Just the map shifting. So, there was a bug that was causing the ghost to ramp up too fast. The ghost will get more and more agitated the more you interact with it. And in the past, the ghost, when you interacted with the ghost, it would count as multiple interactions. Excuse me. And it would cause the ghost to ramp up way faster than it was supposed to. And that accidentally added a huge degree of difficulty to the game, which I myself absolutely loved, and a lot of people loved. The only problem with that is if you were trying to do a simple investigation, like you were actually trying to play the game on an easier mode, so that you could learn it, or if you just wanted to play an easier mode, right? Like, you just weren't up for for playing a super hard investigation. I just, you were just wanting to have a more casual, fun experience, right? Well, unfortunately, the easy difficulties were also super hard. And so that's not ideal. You want your hard settings to be hard, and you want your easy settings to be easy. And what we have right now is kind of an odd mix of both. The hard mode is super cakewalk easy. Because if you're playing on hard, you understand how the game works, and if you understand how the game works, it's like there's not even a ghost. Honestly, it's just let's just push in. I can't go in. There we go. It's just so mind-numbingly easy. It's painful, right? Like it's it's definitely not ideal. But if you didn't understand the game and you're new, so you're not going to have a lot of supplies, you're just going to have the starter crucifix or the starter Mary. And odds are you're probably going to put that crucifix or that Mary in a high traffic area because you don't understand the game yet. And you're going to... Oh. Can you light these? Or is it just... Oh, I'm not gonna lie, that's cool. That's super cool. Oh, there it is. There it is. That's super cool. So as you can see, the new map, this is the second map here. This is back in, or not back in, but this was in Germany, right? Really, really cool looking map here. It's very linear, similar to the Pianist Manor, but I don't know. I think the layout is better. The Pianist Manor was kind of tedious to go through. This is not all that tedious. This layout is a lot more straightforward. And, of course, it's super creepy and creaky wood and candles that apparently the ghosts can interact with. So just absolutely fantastic map, and I think Ghost Hunter Corp does do a brilliant job of this maps, and they're showing no signs of stopping on that front. Of course, we're in the attic now. This is definitely one of their strong points, that they did well at the start and they're continuing to do well. And they're not just releasing one map at a time. You know, they're doing packs of 3. So we're getting a fair bit of content pushed into the game, which is great news. Like, that's great. It's just the difficulties, right? So back on the talk about the difficulties here. On the easy mode, as I was saying, you would use your crucifix or your Mary, probably non-optimally, and it would burn up quicker than it probably should have. And that was probably the only Mary or crucifix you had. And the next thing you know, you're stranded, and it is no longer possible to complete the mission there, because the ghost has already started to ramp up, and it's attacking, and you still... lack maybe a few pieces of evidence, because you're new and you're still trying to figure out how things work. Whoops, we're out of here. So it made for a bad experience on that difficulty. And there really is no in-between player. Like, you either understand how the game works or you don't. So the game is either too easy or too hard. And it appears that it is still in that state. And that is not an optimal place to be. Now, during this beta, they changed the difficulties. We have short, simple investigation. We have simple, long investigation. And these are supposed to be your easier investigations. And then you have extreme short, and then you have extreme long. I tested everything out the first time I played on extreme long, and it was mostly cakewalk. I died on one investigation because we were down to our last, not evidence, but last step, the final exorcism, and it was reading the book. And, of course, the whole thing was completely like a walk in the park, skipping around with a blindfold on. I'd blown the ghost out of the water. So we were just running around with the book, reading absurd phrases, seeing, if I could talk about Bob Ross's paint studio or whatever. And finally, after enough screwing around, I hadn't been paying attention, and the Marys did finally burn up that I had down, and it killed me. And I was like, oh, whoops, oh, okay. Guess I should have just read the book and finished the exorcism. But that was about it, right? Like, the only difficulty came because it was so easy that we were just goofing off and playing dumb. And that's, this is supposed to be a really confrontational game. You're supposed to be fighting with the ghost, so... for this brand new difficulty to hit, and we're basically doing it blindfolded with one arm tied behind our back, and then still we have to goof off, to get killed, that's not a good sign. Not a good sign, in my opinion. But on the bright side, though, and there's a big bright side. There's a big bright side. Because at first I was honestly not all that interested in the new update because the difficulties were so out of whack. So I was like, yeah, they're coming out with some new maps, but I wasn't super interested. But then they announced the new difficulties, so I was like, cool, but then they were kind of a letdown. But I am still now optimistic because they handed these keys out to some testers. They're letting me test it as well, as long as some other people. And they're taking feedback, right? Like, direct feedback. So I'm like, oh, cool. I can finally, directly talk. I'm like, hey, the difficulty is bad. It's, to quote Kung Pao, it's bad wrong. So bad wrong that we may need to make a new word. We'll call it badong, because it's so bad wrong. That was a horrible butchering of that particular line. Now, this door seems to be spring-loaded. I don't know if this is intentional, but it always closes itself. But yeah, this map is super cool, and it's got some interesting things that happen on it. One of the things you will notice, though, is that the bamboo is swaying at the ground. And so that's a bit of an immersion breaker. I sent that in as feedback. But I sent in a bunch of feedback about the difficulty. So I'm hopeful. I'm like, fingers crossed. Like, if they're eager to take feedback, from their players, then that's always a good sign. I mentioned one of the things I sent in my feedback, but there was a lot of invisible wall clipping on this map. I was like, it was kind of annoying because you'd walk around the edges and I would clip into invisible walls and I'd have to step out here. And there was another one right here where it's like I would kind of get hung up right here and I'd have to step around a little bit. There was a patch today and it looks like they already cleaned. Wow. Now, the other thing is I'm glad they're taking feedback, but I hope they don't just knee-jerk react and do every single request. I don't necessarily want them... Can I push this? Too heavy. I don't necessarily want them to take my feedback verbatim and do exactly what I say. I do want them to listen to the feedback and understand my perspective, though, and then think about it, think about what's best for their game, and then make the decision that they think will be the best. Like, that's what I want, because that's the best happy medium. If you just do everything your players tell you to do, your players are going to wreck your game. And that's kind of what happened to the difficulty, in my opinion, is they knee-jerk reacted. Started just doing crazy changes. It's a shadow. Oh, wait, am I about to die? Sure am. Oh, it does not give a fuck, bro. Well, anyway, this is the Bamboo Temple. Also, I didn't get the chance to really talk about this map too much, but except for the bamboo doing the weird sway at the ground, also a really cool map, and I liked it. And one of the really cool interactions that I saw is I walked up to one of those little small shrines. Well, small, they were pretty big. But it was, more akin to, just kind of like a single, it wasn't a building, it was just stone. And I walked over to it, and the ghost was standing. I don't know if it had its hands together, but it had its back to me, and it was facing the shrine and just standing there like it was praying at the shrine or the shrine stone or whatever they're called. I'm going to show a little bit of cultural ignorance and not understand exactly what those stones are, but the ghost was standing at the stone like it was praying. And it stood there for a good half minute. It was pretty crazy. It was really cool. So anyway, that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one.